Hello chaps and chappers, this is really for people that want to take down the meta, you know, that are sick of people sitting in a 4-4-2, sitting in a 4-2-3 ones, and just playing that typical style of play. You know, a lot of YouTubers are going to be telling them, you know, these are the best custom tactics, and they're just going to be saying the same old kind of meta strats, and you know, it's really boring, and we're actually going to look to target some of those formations, such as the 4-4-2 and 4-2-3 one. And what can I say? People are getting tactically lazy. We're looking to take them down with a press. So we're playing 100 depth and 59 width on the defense as well. And the reason that I've actually put the width a little bit wider is when the right back and left backs go all the way forward like we've got them going, the CDMs are just more naturally going to filter out to cover those positions that are being, or the space rather, that's being left by the right back and left back. So in terms of a chance creation, we got possession. You can actually put it on direct passing as well. It really depends on how you want to play. The width we've got on 35, and the reason is we want the wingers to actually come inside, and we want them to play in the half spaces and then allow the right back and left backs to overload and overlap to really just take down the defense, man. We're using that width against them, but you know, we'll go further and further into these kind of concepts as we go on. So in terms of the actual defense, we've got the left back on join the attack, overlap and step up. We've got all of the defenders on step up, and that's the thing, it's actually a new thing in FIFA 22 and it works really well. You know, when the strikers want to receive the ball, the centre backs are going to be tight on them and not enabling them to turn and, you know, pass the ball through in behind, and then join the attack and step up on the right back as well. In terms of the CDMs, we've got stay back while attacking a man mark as well as cover the wing. Now, in a normal kind of team where you're not having players man marked, in a 4-4-2 with the yellow there, they're just able to, you know, pass it from the centre back to the centre mid without any kind of trouble. But now that we've got them on man mark for two CDMs, they're going to be sitting on those centre mids. And then all of a sudden, like I say, in terms of weaponising the press, like, it really makes it difficult for them to play out the back. And that's what we're targeting here. We're targeting teams trying to play out the back. And we've got cover wings so that the CDMs filter into that space that's being left by the left back and right back when they go forward. And it actually works really intelligently as well, I have to say. Middle centre mid is on drop between defenders and cover centre, and he's actually just that extra man to press a lot of the time. In the build-up, we often drop between the centre backs almost and actually create a 3v2 against the two strikers pressing in a 4-4-2. We've got stay central, false 9, come back on defence, thing on the strikes. Free roam, come back on defence on the right wing. And then cut inside, come back on defence on the left winger. So they're essentially just trying to kind of, you know, the striker false 9 dropping into the midfield, creating our extra option. And then the two wingers are just trying to play with that inside space. One of them being on free roam works quite well. Right, so getting stuck into some foot jumps, you know, some sweaty games. We have the left back pinned by our two wide players there. The CDM is just able to drive through into that half space. And it just shows, like, even having stay back while attacking two CDMs, they're still going to be able to contribute to the attack pretty well. And I like them to be really quick. And you see just why here. You know, when the right back's forward, Renato Sanchez, the right centre defensive mid, is actually covering for the boy there. And essentially, like, it actually may seem really defensive with the setup. We've got three midfielders who are all really defensive. The centre mid is coming back. The two CDMs are staying back. And the main weapon is, once again, we're covering that left side with the left defensive mid. Our main weapon is actually the press. So it may seem like a really defensive team, but when you're winning the ball back consistently in these kind of areas, like Jurgen Klopp has actually said, I think in like a Sky Sports interview, the guy was saying literally like Gegenpressing or you know, pressing and winning the ball hard to pitch is better than having a playmaker. And, you know, we don't even need a playmaker. We've got three centre mids that are all literally just shadow, you know, 90 pace centre mids. You know, well, two CDMs and one centre mid, but they're basically all just CDMs. And they're just going to create the chances by winning the ball up high up the pitch. So, as you can see, they're trying to play out the back here. We got them locked straight away. The CDM is man marking that centre mid. And then they tried to give it back. They give it to Grease. And like I say, you know, the press is going to be what produces the chances. Atoll really should be winning the ball here as I think he's on step up, obviously. He goes straight to the winger, but Wijnaldum, that extra man, having that third centre mid, he's actually able to cover for those CDMs if they're not in that position anyway. So one absolutely essential thing if you're looking to do this strat is to have three midfielders, you know, the one centre mid and the two CDMs. They need to be rapid. You know, they need to be able to go up to, I would say, around 90 sprint speed, as once again, the man mark is getting us the ball back. And you notice as well, like, how quick we're attacking. It actually allows you to be able to just kind of go at them and not even have any fear of losing the ball, because if you lose the ball, you're almost going to get an even better chance off the press of them giving it away. You know, it is actually almost better, literally, to give away the ball around the edge of a box and then them just kind of get picked off by the press. So, as you can see, we actually put a toll out to the left back and bring on Adama Traore out to right back. You can honestly just play super attacking left back and right back players. So they're trying to play out from the back again. The left winger is sitting on their right back, so it's always really difficult for them to play out. You know, a lot of players like to do that, don't they? They like to kind of stretch with the goal kick and kind of just give it to a left back or right back. But having the wingers constantly there, it makes it very, very difficult to be able to do that. So, you know, when most players, if you think about it, when they come up against you, especially a lot of the top players, they're going to look to play the ball out from the back. They're not just going to... In fact, who really on FIFA ever, like, lumps it up the pitch and tries to win a second ball? It doesn't really happen. So, a lot of the time, you're just going to be able to stop players from kind of doing anything. And that really happened against this lad here, as we get a 2v1 and play it across. The left back overlapping it against a single right back. So he just tries to go at me. And I don't know whether there's going to be too much examples of me just defending in a deeper setup. But even if they do break down your press and they don't manage to successfully kind of get away on the counter, when you do drop into a deeper lineup, you've of course got two CDMs and a centre mid. So it's actually even more solid than a 4-2-3-1 when you're defending in a deeper setup. But half the time, they're just like, I mean, it's 4-0 within 25 minutes. Half the time, they're not even going to be able to get out of the back, to be honest. So, Adama Traore stretching the right-hand side. And what that's allowing us to do is that right wing is now driving in that inside half space. And I spot that half space straight away. I get the 1-2 off with Wijnaldum. Play it straight through for the boy. And that's top bins. I mean, we're kind of cruising on by. You know, we're cruising through FUT Champions qualification. So, I'm just trying to find if there's any, like, banging examples here. I mean, we got a left back overlapping again. It's just, the stretch is really killing them. And once again, look, they get the ball. And, of course, Renato Sanchez, man, marking him, just literally pressing it straight away. I don't really think, like, people are not going to be ready for this tactic. Like, they're not going to be ready for how to deal with it. As, once again, they're looking to play out. The centre-back is stepping out. He's on that step-out tactic where they're not giving any time on the ball as soon as they look to counter. And I just feel like it's kind of difficult to counter-attack in this game compared to previous FIFAs. Like, it's not, like, pace is definitely still a thing, but it's not, like, in terms of counter-attacking, I don't know, it's not as effective. So it's actually a hell of a lot easier to stop the counters. And when you've got, you know, players man marking their midfielders and stuff, they can't even give it to the midfielders who are going to be the ones trying to provide that free ball anyway. So, you know, at this point it's 7-0, and we have got examples against, you know, better players than this as well. But Adama Traore stretching once again. The right winger is able to get on the inside. Wijnaldum cruising on by. I mean, it's 8-0 within 51 minutes. The guy's just been absolutely demolished. So this is an example against a really good team. I actually picked out this clip, like, especially because it's against a really good team. And another thing that I just want to say is that a really good thing about this strat is it's not completely relying on, oh, you know, we have to press them right now. We have to get the ball high the pitch, and if we flop, then we're going to completely fall apart. And that was, you know, the one goal I actually conceded off a counter-attack. That one goal. Because we've got players covering the spaces like here. Well, actually, they just can't get out from there at all. But because we've got players covering the spaces, even if the initial press doesn't work, we've got players covering anyway. So here, once again, the left back is stepping up straight onto him. And, you know, this is a good player. This is a good player, and he's just not able to get out. Eventually, you know, he's starting to find a bit more room. So he gets out of that initial point. But then, you know, it's still... There's so many weapons at your disposal. Like, we're able to get it with the left back there. But even if he'd have got free there and he'd try to, like, play a free ball to a striker or something like that, you know, you can do offside trap. Like, pretty much, if you can dominate with this high line and stop people playing out and really master, you know, defending against counters and all of that, like, it's just so difficult to play against, man. It really is difficult. And these guys don't, like I say, they don't really know how to deal with it. So I'm just pissing about at this point. I'm just like running into his team with skill moves because I know that he's going to have a really tough time trying to counter. We've got players so tight on them, man. They're just so tight on each of those players, and they just can't find the space on the counter. So once again, they're trying to get through. They're just trying to get on through, and they can't. And then instantly, we've got a high-quality chance that's being created practically every time. The width is a bit too much from there. Diaby down this left-hand side, trying to get the ball across. Can't quite get it across there. And then, all right, so another little example here. They're trying to get through. All right, so they're playing out from the back. What are they saying? What are they saying? Sane just getting pressed again and again and again. I mean, I don't think this team's even that expensive. I'm using it. It's not like an insane team. Either Grease, my guy threw it on goal. Big save coming out, man. And they're having to clutch up just about every time. So Renato Sanchez looking to get on through. What's he saying? Now we can look to stretch as well. As a winger, you actually notice that inside kind of movement. And if I'd have been able to retain the ball there, I would have got it to a left back. But now they're trying to get out. Can't get out again. Every time. But like I say, this is actually like a decent player with a decent team. So Grease. And also, like, if you wanted to play a more kind of possession style of game, you can definitely do that. Like, you can play our possession styles. We just stretch them there. And then it'll be even more difficult for them to get out of the press, because when you're holding the ball so much, you can make sure that you only kind of lose it in good areas for you. So, you know, if you lose it in a dangerous area, it's not a guarantee they're going to get a counter-attack goal, but it's certainly going to make it more likely. But if you're like more safe with it and play like a proper possession style, it's going to be really difficult for them to basically do anything. So at this point with 4-1 up, we're literally not even trying. Like, I really feel like we're not even trying. He gets a green time header off a corner there. I mean, my guy kind of doing the most. I don't know how he's managed to do that. The centre-back kind of moving out there. And you see Wijnaldum's actually covering because he's dropped between defenders. He's kind of covering for that anyway. Griezmann giving it to Renato Sanchez. Completely stretch him here. And the left-back on the overlap. At all, my guy with a 5-star week for, man. He just bangs up. So, so far, we've conceded 1 counter-attack goal in all of the games. A header, a green time finish, and then that by Thierry Henry, like a stupid finesse shot from an absolute mile out. And that's the thing. They literally just did an update to the patch where finesse shots have been nerfed even more, so they wouldn't be able to do that. So, chaps and chapettes, make sure to tune into the Road to Glory if you haven't already. You know, we're going to be doing a tactical masterclass this weekend in FUT Champs. I'll see you in a jiff.